Faang Stocks. F-A-A-N-G. What are they? And why are they important? Plus, can you get exposure to all of them in an ETF? Watch this video to learn more. Hello and welcome back to another video with Mind Money Masters. Today we're going to talk about Faang Stocks. Not Dracula Fangs, I'm talking about Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, also known as Alphabet. All big names in the investing world, most with high dollar signs on their price tags per share. Why are these important? Is there an ETF that holds them all? We are going to talk risk level, market cap, and some interesting ways to buy these and get exposure to these 5 companies. Please watch to the end as I will give you my final take on the specifics around this interesting stocks and all of these things that can potentially be a part of your portfolio, and also some strategies with some closing remarks. Please click subscribe on my channel and turn on that bell for notifications so you can see any new videos that come out. Also, as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed advisor, and this video is not intended to offer any investment advice. The video is merely for informational purposes. Please reach out to your professional advisor before making any investment decisions. First, a quote by Nick Murray. Investing is the age-old, never-ending emotional battle between the fear of the future and faith in the future. I like this. Seems like he's kind of captured the essence of what we feel whenever we're considering investing as an option for cash flow, wealth building, or even long-term investing. If you don't know who Nick Murray is, he's an investor and author that specifically works within the realm of books for financial advisors. Faang, F-A-A-N-G, is an acronym, as you can imagine, for 5 companies that are very important in the performance of the overall stock market. If you're thinking of investing, Faang is somewhat of a buzzword that refers to Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. The term Faang is first credited to Jim Cramer on MSNBC, but he first did not actually include Apple stock, so it was actually just F-A-N-G, Faang. He credits the acronym to a senior analyst and former colleague. They since added Apple and added the extra A. In order to decide on investing in an ETF with Faang Stocks, we really want to understand more about the underlying securities that make up these Faang stocks. Now, if you are unsure about investing in an ETF or how that works, I do have another video, Investing in ETFs 101, that would be really beneficial before we go into more detail. I put a link to that actually up in this slide here. So otherwise, here's a short summary of all of these companies associated with the Faang stocks. Facebook, ticker symbol FB, is the F, obviously, as you can imagine. Many ETFs carry Facebook as part of their larger strategy, and it's quite possibly a household name if you discuss social media at all at home. You know, it really should be. There's 2.7 billion active users as of Q3 of 2020 and an annual revenue close to $71 billion. Should be well known. So, plus if we acquired, when they acquired Instagram, it may have been a perfect combo for the future social media dominance. So this company makes money by advertising to users when they scroll through the newsfeed. 92% of advertising revenue came from a mobile platform. So obviously a lot of people are using mobile a lot more than desktop. Since more people every day are becoming mobile, I'm imagining those revenue expectations are definitely going to rise. However, I will tell you that the IPO of Facebook, many considered to be a disappointment, and there have been some recent privacy issues that have come up with the company as a whole. Just kind of give full disclosure, but that being said, something must be going right over there, just because the stock price has steadily climbed and more than doubled in the past 5 years. So, Amazon is the A, the first A, ticker symbol AMZN, also well-known organization. If you wanted to build an ETF with Faang stocks, Amazon would be a potential way to diversify since it's not really a tech company. There are tech aspects, obviously, to Amazon, but it's not really a technology company, tech stock. So Jeff Bezos started the company in 1995 with a goal to make it the largest online bookstore. Obviously, now he's one of the richest men in the world. Amazon is the world's largest online retailer, specializing in business to commerce, e-commerce. However, I mean, it's a strong cloud computing presence as well with the AWS Amazon Web Service platform. So it kind of is bridging that gap into tech. It also has its own movies and electronic devices. And if you're a member of Prime, then you are one of over 150 million Amazon Prime subscribers. Its stock price has actually more than quadrupled over the past 5 years. Apple. Ticker symbol AAPL is the second A. It's the oldest and most established organization on this list, with roots actually back in the early computer industry of the 70s and the 80s. Apple still makes computers, but as with Facebook trend, half of their revenue from Apple comes from the release of their smartphones. A little bit different there. It has also found a niche in cloud computing storage, electronic devices, streaming music, movies. Apple stock has been on a recent strong upward trend, and the stock has almost tripled since just March of 2020. It's important to note that Apple was not actually originally included in the Faang group. It was, without the second A. Apple was added later and is generally considered part of the group now. So keep in mind that you could create your own ETF with these stocks by purchasing all 5 companies. You would probably have too much overexposure in tech and software, but if you are looking to get into their gains, that is an option. Netflix is the next one, ticker symbol NFLX. Different organization entirely, doesn't really have the same business model and doesn't have a heavy software presence. So 150 million subscribers. The streaming television and movie service has really made a name for itself. The company did go public in 2002, and I'm sure many of you can remember that it was originally a direct mail movie provider. I remember still getting movies in the mail from Netflix. Netflix offered, originally designed to be the brick and mortar video rental industry to compete with them, and obviously those have pretty much completely gone away. So now Netflix offered customers the ability to rent a movie online and it would arrive the next day. However, obviously they saw the trend and they moved to a streaming service, which many did not see that trend and ended up biting the dust, aka Blockbuster. But Netflix stock has had a modest growth in 2019, but has been up a strongward upward trend pretty much since March of 2020. So Google, also known as Alphabet, ticker symbols are GOOG and GOOGL. Alphabet is what it's really known for in the investing world, but may be recognized as the largest search engine in the market, is also leading the charge in some cutting-edge technology, which includes self-driving cars, smart cities, biotechnology are all commonly discussed around the Google roundtables. They also own YouTube, which is one of the largest video streaming social media platforms in the world. Both share classes of Google have nearly doubled since March of 2020. So kind of just a little bit of an introduction of what's within Faang. Why do they even matter? Why should you even care about these specific 5 stocks if you don't already? The total capitalization of the U.S. stock market is around just over $34 trillion. And the market cap of just these 5 Faang stocks is more than $3 trillion. So just these 5 companies alone make up 1/10 of the entire market cap of the U.S. stock market. So think about that. How many companies are in the U.S. stock market? I don't actually even know. Hundreds for sure, maybe thousands. And these 5 companies make up 1/10 of the market cap. They matter because what happens to them typically affects the entire market in some way. These 5 corporations should all be on your stock watch list. If nothing else, to get an idea of how volatile they are. Any mutual fund or broad market ETF that seeks to mirror an index will likely have one or more of these stocks in their portfolio. If you're seeking to track the market and to understand how market behaves with certain economic conditions or economic changes, it would be a good idea to definitely keep these on your radar. If you're able to purchase all 5 of these companies, you could create your own ETF effectively with ETF of just the Faang stocks. Now, leads me to the next question. What about, is there one in existence now? Is there an ETF in existence now with Faang stocks? Unfortunately, no. There is no specific ETF with these 5 company loans. It really wouldn't be a very diversified portfolio with 5 stocks. Most ETFs have hundreds of stocks that they try to diversify from an indexual perspective. So it wouldn't be very diversified to have only 5 stocks. However, there is an ETN the Bank of Montreal did issue an exchange-traded note that tracks the index, an index with these 5 stocks. So someone created an index with just these 5 stocks and then created a note that tracks this index. So the index also contains 5 other companies. So I guess actually no, there's 10 stocks within this index. It's 10 companies within this index, but this ETN only tracks these 5. The ticker symbol for this is FNGS. As I mentioned above, there's many mutual funds and ETFs that track the overall market. They would hold these stocks in their portfolio if they're looking to track an index because they're so large and so important within the overall stock market. The ETN with the symbol FNGS may not actually be the best option for an investor, just given that the index does track a very small sector of the market with only 10 holdings. In addition, the expense ratio is 0.58%, which isn't super high, but it's not really. You don't necessarily need to get exposed to these with just this particular exchange-traded note with that high of an expense ratio. So, there's many brokerage firms, as another example, that offer the ability to purchase fractional shares. You may be able to create your own ETF with fractional shares because, like I said, these stocks are pretty expensive. These companies and these stock prices are pretty expensive. To get a decent amount of shares with any one of these companies is going to run some serious costs. So stock slices actually can help you. I know Charles Schwab offers stock slices where you add a specific dollar amount and select a number of companies you want to purchase. Then the brokerage firm will allocate the value equally across the stocks selected. This is, similar to the way that you purchase a mutual fund. However, you're not buying a mutual fund. You're actually buying the company, the stocks. You're just buying fractional shares of the company. Yeah, if you're looking for a specific ETF that might be exposed to these 5 companies in more specificness, I suppose, you could look into, I have 4 ETFs here, the Q's Invesco QQQ Trust, iShares Core S&P US Growth, that's IUSG, the iShares S&P 500 Growth, IVW, or the iShares US Tech Breakthrough, TECB, which is obviously more focused around tech, so you're going to have a lot of these Faang stocks in there. All 4 of these contain the 5 stocks in their top 10 holdings. So please keep in mind, I'm not recommending these ETFs. I'm not registered, but these do offer an example of 4 ETFs that hold these companies in their top 10 categories. So it might be something to explore and talk to your advisor about if you're interested. So my final take. If you're able to read any of my other posts, you may realize that I focus quite a bit on investing and personal finance. My final take is really designed to be more of my personal opinion on the subject. Obviously not professional advice, but it's something to kind of just connect with my followers a little bit on that. Now, Faang stocks, I will tell you, are fairly volatile. You don't already know that, I'm sure you do, but it should not be taken lightly. So I've traded these 5 securities one time or another, bought options sold options on these securities. So, when making any types of investment decisions, always do your research and education. They are your best friend. They should guide you really every step of the way. The application of knowledge is where the real power comes from in any endeavor. I think I've said that a couple times, but getting back to kind of like the stock slices as a better option, I do like the concept of stock slices. I don't think there's really that much to dislike. You're still buying the company and you get a portion of the shares. It's a way for someone who maybe has a little bit less to invest and wants to diversify a little bit across a couple other companies to maybe do that. Now, you may miss out on some risk management strategies if you do this. That might be an issue with stock slices. I'm specifically talking about like options. If you want to have options as a risk management strategy, you may not be able to get into options with stock slices. But the biggest example that I can tell you is if you look at Google, it's trading at $2,500 a share roughly, and Netflix is over 500. I think the last time I looked. Amazon's over 3,500. There's a lot of ways that you could potentially put some money into all of these, even though you're only getting fractional shares. So if you're in a place financially that you can afford them, then fantastic, good on you. But, considering the average retirement account for the age group of 45 through 54 is only $80,000, you'd only be able to purchase 25 shares of Amazon if you were only buying Amazon. So therefore, you wouldn't really be very diversified. You're just buying Amazon. All that being said, investing is a process. You can choose the best way that works for you. That can be a combination of active management, where you invest and you own time, and you do the research and select the stocks, or you could also have someone else do it for you and picking those stocks for you, leave it in their hands. But I would definitely, if you're going to have someone else do it, make sure that they have your best interest in mind. It would make sense, though, to have some exposure to these 5 companies for sure in one way or another, just given the fact of their market cap and how much they could potentially affect the market. Personally, I love trading and investing with the stock market. That is it's not the only way to generate income, but in order to be truly diversified, you really need to have exposure to all the asset classes, which I've talked about before. But you want to have stocks, real estate, commodities, and you want to own your own business. That makes money for you while you sleep. This can fund your investment endeavors. If you'd like to know more how to start your online business with little overhead and make some big profits, please take a look at the description section for this video. I do share a link with the same program that helped me get started and funded many of my investment endeavors. I really hope that this video helps you understand a little bit more around Faang Stocks and general investing. Please subscribe to my channel and comment in the feed with the things you really liked and what else you want me to talk about in the world of personal finance, investing, and making money online. Cheers to your success and happy investing.